Welcome back. A ruling today clears President Trump of answering questions under oath about the alleged affair with the adult film actress Stormy Daniels, but just for the time being. A federal judge denied her legal team's motion for an expedited trial, saying the request to also speed up the discovery phase of this case was premature. Meanwhile, a major twist in this entire ordeal. Michael Cohen, the president's personal attorney, has his own attorney who says that, in fact, it was Stormy Daniels' legal team who approached Cohen with the idea of hush money, not the other way around. David Schwartz, Cohen's lawyer and spokesman, he joins me now. Mr. Schwartz, thanks very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
So first, if I can get your reaction to the judge's ruling for the time being, not dismissing, I should say, the motion to depose President Trump. What's your reaction?
Well, I'm not surprised in the least bit. I said from the moment that the motion was filed that it was frivolous, it was untimely, and the judge made the proper decision. We're not sitting here celebrating. I see it as being a non-issue completely because it made no sense at the point in time in which the motion was filed.
But let me ask you this, because we've spoken to a number, I'm not a lawyer, you are, but we've spoken to a number of lawyers to understand exactly what the judge said in this decision.
Right.
And the decision rather, makes no ruling on the underlying merits of this demand to have the president testify. So at a later date, the judge could then say, the president should be deposed.
That's why I premised my answer by saying it's really a non-issue at this point.
Okay.
I just don't understand why the motion was filed. Well, I do understand, because Mr. Avenatti files a motion and everybody jumps on it. For 2 days, everybody's talking about the president's going to be deposed, he's going to be deposed, and I'm standing up here saying it's a frivolous motion. It's untimely, and that's exactly what the judge decided. So. And it only took him 36 hours, by the way.
Fair enough. To be clear, but granted, for now, he could make a judgment, a different judgment at a different time. You mentioned Daniel's attorney, Michael Avenatti. He says that you're actually helping his case by saying that Cohen never told the president about this non-disclosure agreement. Let me, just for the sake of our viewers, I'm going to play his comment, then you can react.
Okay.
David Schwartz has claimed that the president knew nothing about this, had no involvement in it, and if that is true, the agreement's going to be thrown out because the president, and only the president, could bind himself to various provisions of that agreement.
It's not. Okay,
Does that make sense
first of all, no, it makes no sense, but that's with everything he says. So, first of all, the president is a third-party beneficiary to this agreement. It's been said all along. This wasn't new news. Michael Cohen said from the very beginning that he did this on his own and did not tell the president. So the fact that I came out and said that, it's not new news. So now he's coming out.
Whether it's new or not, from a legal perspective, and again, I'm not a lawyer, I will grant that, but I have spoken to smarter people than me on this issue, and they've explained to me that with an agreement like this, which purports to be between the president and this person, even if the president didn't sign it, it purports to bind this person via agreement between the president and Stormy Daniels. If the president didn't know about it, why is the agreement valid?
I don't know who you spoke to, but the bottom line is the agreement was between EC, LLC, and Stormy Daniels. The agreement was between an entity and Stormy Daniels. There was consideration. There was an attorney. There were attorneys on both sides, okay? And she was paid the $130,000. This agreement is rock solid. In the agreement, it says and or, so either party on that side could have signed the agreement. It was signed, it's valid, and it's going to be found to be valid either by this court or what I think is really going to happen is the court will kick it down to arbitration. So his theory is completely off. And let me, if I can then, and you made your point on that, and there's a lot I want to get through here because I appreciate the opportunity with me. So let me get to this other topic. You also now say that the former lawyer for Stormy Daniels, Keith Davidson, that in fact he was the one who approached Cohen, not the other way around. 100%.
Walk us through how that happened exactly. Was it an email? Was it a phone call, text message?
I'm not going to get into the methodology of communication, but what I will say is it's pretty well known that she was shopping her story around. In fact, she admitted on 60 Minutes that she was shopping her story around, and it was this attorney that reached out to Michael Cohen to basically say that $130,000 you could make this deal, or he would shop it around to someone else.
So
and that's pretty well known by now.
Let me ask you, though, because Avenatti, who is Stormy Daniels', of course, current lawyer, says that Cohen approached her when he found out that she was talking to ABC News at the time about an interview, of course, days before a presidential election, and therefore had a desire to kill that interview. You're saying that's not true.
Stormy Daniels said it's not true. Stormy Daniels admitted that Michael Cohen never communicated with her whatsoever. Never communicated with her. The only communications were between Michael Cohen
but he arranged
and
a $130,000 payment, so I mean,
with an attorney.
They were in touch in some way.
Well, they were not in touch, because that's a very crucial point in this case.
Well, how the money? Then why did he set up an LLC in Delaware to get $130,000 into her pocket?
Because he was speaking with the other attorney. So he wasn't speaking with Stormy Daniels directly.
I think for folks at home, it doesn't matter so much that there was an intermediary. I mean, folks at home, I think have a reasonable question to say then, if there was no damaging information that you might be able to offer, why the need to pay the money?
It matters a lot, because the accusation is Michael Cohen was threatening her. Meanwhile, they never met each other. They never spoke to each other.
That's actually a separate issue. The threat is a separate issue. But on the payment, can you explain why the payment was made then?
Okay, the payment is made pursuant to a non-disclosure agreement. The payment is made to protect family, it's to protect business, and it's to protect reputation.
Non-disclosure of what?
Non-disclosure of whatever Stormy Daniels was going to say, and we heard what she had to say on 60 Minutes.
Of an affair.
Heard her say,
right,
I don't even know if that's an affair. I mean, she basically said they had sex one time 12 years ago, if you want to believe her. The president denies that. I'm not here to get into the substance of anyone's arguments. I'm here to talk about the substance of a contract and a non-disclosure agreement. These agreements are signed every single day.
Are you saying sex one time would not be material or of interest to the president not getting out there 3 days before the election?
I didn't say that. I said the sex one time that she said 12 years ago is immaterial to any of my arguments, because I'm here to talk about a non-disclosure agreement and a contract. I don't care what they did 12 years ago, and I don't think most people care what the president did 12 years ago. It's only the media that cares about what the president did 12 years ago.
That's a judgment for people at home
to make. But I'm on for my opinions, right? So that's my opinion.
Fair enough. No, that's one reason why we have on. I mean, but just on that issue, are you saying that this idea that Stormy Daniels was about to do a public interview with ABC News days before the presidential election was something that Michael Cohen did not know about?
Michael Cohen was approached by the other attorney, and the other attorney communicated that she was going to do an interview, or he could pay the $130,000. So Michael Cohen made an executive decision, made a business decision, and they paid the $130,000. Now, that may seem abnormal to some people, but if you're in business and you want to avoid,
if you want, $130,000 if you want to, who says she had an affair,
if you want to avoid litigation and you want to protect someone's reputation and you want to protect their business, you pay the $130,000. And by the way, unfortunately, it happens every single day. Politicians,
not to most people I know, but
news personalities, CEOs. They enter into non-disclosure agreements. In fact, we know elected officials do it because we heard about it. And guess what? That money comes from our pockets, the taxpayers' pockets.
Well, there is a question here about whether it came from the campaign coffers. That's another issue.
Well, it came from Michael's pocket. You could speculate from here till tomorrow. You could say, oh, it's the campaign.
It's this, it's that. It's a fair question.
When I say you, I say people in general. You could speculate anything you want, but the facts are what the facts are.
David Schwartz, I appreciate you taking the hard questions.
Thank you very much.
Russia is...
You can send money online, in store, or on the app. From here to there, so you can help him pay for college. Send money the way you like, right now.